GT Sport is, well, it's a sport. The clue's kind of in the title, and like any sport, getting your first win can be tough. In this video, I can't give you some magic formula for success because the truth is there are none. Getting a win is hard work that can't be done without some skill. So what can you do to improve your chances and grab that elusive first win? Let's find out. In sport mode, the very first thing you need to do is to choose a race to enter. I know it's obvious, right? But this simple choice is a critical one. Daily Race A is where you need to be hunting if you want an easier win. It has several advantages. The first is that it's a short race. You're going to screw up, and you're going to screw up a lot. The shorter the race, the more races you can fit in per session and the more chances you get to get it right. The second major advantage is the sheer simplicity of it. The lights go out and you go flat out to the checkered flag. There's no need to worry about fuel or tire combinations, you just focus on your driving. But before you even get to the track, you have one more decision to make. Which car? Sometimes the decision is made for you in a one-make race, but often there's a range of cars to choose from. So which one do you choose? This is pretty easy. Just take a look at the leaderboard. Anything appearing in the top 10 should be fine, and if there is one car appearing a lot more than the rest, use that one. But keep in mind this advice only applies to Daily Race A. Sometimes in races with tyre wear and fuel usage, a car that is fast on the leaderboard might not be the fastest over a race distance due to excessive tyre wear or fuel usage that you don't have to worry about over one lap. Now it's time to do the hard yards. At this point you likely don't know the car or the track. Get to know both by just doing laps. Laps and more laps. You can time trial alone while qualifying, but you may as well enter races while you're learning. Just keep going until you instinctively know how the car is going to react to your inputs and you know every last twist and turn of the track. There's going to come a time where your pace will level off and you'll stop beating your best time so easily. Now is when you can stand on the shoulders of giants and copy from the best. Take a look at the top time on the leaderboard for your car. Select the view you use and make sure all the data you need to see is on screen. You are looking for two things here, braking points and the RPM to shift at. And if you're still using automatic, check out the video in the description below on exactly why you might want to switch to manual transmission. Go corner by corner, remembering the exact points the driver starts braking and where they start to turn. Learn not only when they shift up on the straights, but also how hard they shift down. Note here that the driver isn't shifting down normally. They slam straight down to second, revving the hell out of the engine. If they do it, you do it. It's that simple. The top drivers will also be setting a custom brake bias, but there is no way to tell what they're using from the replay. In longer races with tyre wear, you want to use the brake bias to balance the tyre wear, but in Daily Race A, there is no need to worry about wear, and my advice is to keep it simple and leave the default brake balance. It's not going to be the deciding factor. Use everything you have learned this far to improve your qualifying time. While you can win from any position on the grid, and personally I find starting in last the most fun, if you really want to win you need to start as high on the grid as possible. This not only ensures that you avoid getting stuck behind slower cars, it also reduces your chances of being taken out of the race by lesser drivers. Once you have a decent qualifying time, all that is left to do is to perform in the race. The first hurdle is your getaway if the race is from a standing start. All cars are different, but the best general advice here is to turn TCS to 1 and gun the throttle. Just remember to quickly turn TCS back to 0 by the first turn. And speaking of turn 1, the inside line is your friend. Here I don't get the best start, but I have the inside. Now keep an eye on the rearview mirror. Too Slow for Pole is about to get wrecked, and the only thing he did wrong was to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Alcachi hits me and that sends me into Too Slow. Because I was on the inside, I survived and actually benefited from the contact, converting that into the race lead. Now it's time to settle down and be consistent. This is where just doing the race over and over helps. I know the car on this track and I know exactly how hard I can push. This is in contrast to the very first race I entered, where I generally knew the track but I had never driven the car, let alone the car on this track before. Despite all that though, it was going pretty well. I took 3 positions into turn 1, but my inexperience with the car was going to catch me out. It's 1 lap later and I turn a 1.3 second lead into complete disaster, all because I didn't know how the car would react when I drifted it over the ripple strip. Now it's many races and qualifying sessions later. I have studied the best and learnt from all my mistakes. Putting it all together resulted in a 5-second lead as we crossed the line for the win. The fastest lap and a clean race are nice bonuses on top. Practice, study, implement. That's your path to victory.